Hello, everybody. Today on Talks with MSD, we're hanging out with Phil Smith, who's actually a legend here at MSD. Today's topic is why choose the trades, and let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Hey, Phil, you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. I'm Phil Smith. Been here at MSD for a minute or two, a little over 20 years.
Yeah, definitely a couple days.
Yeah. Been in a few different roles here. Currently, I am the Workforce Development and Safety Manager, working over in the HR department. I was in the sheet metal side, started as an apprentice, worked my way up through journeyman, foreman, before making the jump into the office to be the safety manager.
Let's just get into why should you choose the trades? What's your opinion?
Why should you choose the trades?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I start? I mean, if you're the right person, if you have that kind of mentality, the trades are the perfect destination.
Absolutely.
For you, right? I mean, if you're someone that likes to work with your hands, you're someone that loves that sense of accomplishment at the end of the day, loves to turn around and flex on it and be like, I did that. I mean, why would you not go into the trades?
They always say the trades, it has this catchphrase or whatever that, you may never be rich, but you'll never be broke.
True.
Absolutely, because there's always something to do. You can jump from trade to trade. You can start as an electrician like I did and then move over to HVAC or service. Or you can be a plumber. Controls here, we offer controls now. Well, we've offered controls for a while. But
Fire and security.
Fire and security.
Electrical.
Yes.
Building automation.
Building automation, estimation.
Oh, yeah, you could go anywhere.
Yes, engineering.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of trades here at MSD.
Absolutely.
Favorite though is service.
Maybe a little biased.
Yeah, a little biased
but
towards the service department.
well, they do have one heck of a manager over there.
Oh yeah, you gotta tell me about that guy.
That's a different podcast.
Oh my goodness. Right now is really a great time to get into the trades.
For sure. For sure. Well, I mean, you've got the whole supply and demand, right? I mean,
Yes.
everybody learned about that in school.
Oh yeah.
And there is a huge demand and a low supply.
Yes, there is.
So, I mean, research says that there's 80 million baby boomers that are at the end tailing off retirement, leaving the workforce, right? And there's only 40 million souls to replace those 80 million that are leaving, right? Because families don't have 8, 9, 10, 11 kids like they used to
Correct.
back in the day. So they're really only half the people.
Yeah, I know here at MSD, we are just hiring. We have a lot going on. We continue to get new accounts, excellent clients, which, requires people to service them.
Correct. Correct. It's one thing about the trades is there's no outsourcing, right? There's no call center in some other country. There's nothing to replace you, right?
That's correct.
We don't have the cyborgs out there yet to replace the people. So you've always got work that requires a physical
There's
person
always something to
be
do.
there.
Yeah, that goes back to where you might never be rich, but there's always something to do, so you'll never be broke.
Correct.
And then, of course, when you're in the trades, for not only your employer, but your entire friends and family.
Yes. Yes. Don't tell people. Don't tell your family what you're doing.
Yeah.
Tell them you work for the CIA or something. Right?
Yes, if not, you are the family's maintenance man.
Yes.
Which is awesome. It's great to repay your family.
Yeah. I think I was in school for a week when I got my first call. Maybe not even the full week. Hey, my air conditioner's not working. Can you come over here?
Yes. My light switch or my outlet's out. Yes. Can you come fix this for me?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So being in the trades, you're absolutely valuable. Yes, and it's a good feeling. Being valued is an excellent feeling.
Yes, that is true.
How did you get started into the trades?
Well, let's see. Coming out of school, I had no clue what I wanted to do. So I was working out at Emory, loading and unloading airplanes, just killing time.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? With no destination in mind, just kind of floating by, making enough money to buy a case of beer and all that kind of stuff. And I started working for a guy who worked out there at night, who had his own HVAC company. So I started doing some residential installs with him. And the girl that I was with ended up pregnant, and I thought, wow, life's about to get real.
Oh, yeah.
I need to come up with some destination. Like, I need to start working on
Career.
really growing up,
Yes.
right, in a career. So having that little bit of introduction through Jerry Moreland and doing some residential, I thought, you know what, HVAC, that's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna do. So I went to adult education at CTC for HVAC, and I wanted to be a service tech. I wanted to be Danny C. Little did I know that I don't have it in me to be Danny C, but that's what I wanted to be. So, and I knew I wanted to be commercial. I knew I wanted to work on big stuff, and I think a lot of that was my ego. I think I wanted to turn around and be like the biggest stuff, like that's me, like I got this. And my instructor said, well, MSD is where you want to go. So I came over. There were no openings in service. They weren't willing to take a chance on me at that point in service, but they had an opening in sheet metal. So I thought, well, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna get my foot in the door, start in sheet metal, and then when there's an opening in service, I'll roll over there. So I started doing sheet metal, and I found a passion that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
I really
Yes,
loved
it
doing
happens.
sheet metal.
Absolutely. It's how it happens.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So I got in, and I really loved the way I felt at the end of the day. I loved being dirty and sweaty at the end of the day and turning around and being like, that ductwork, like I put that in.
Yes.
I mean, my family was so sick and tired of driving down the highway and me pointing at, see that rooftop up there? Like I did that. See that fan? Yeah, I put that there.
Yes.
Like my kids were young and they're like, yes, Dad, we know. You put it there. Stop telling us. You know?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to do something mechanical. From the very beginning, young, 10, 13 years old, I just loved taking things apart. I always loved taking things apart just to see what was inside and how it worked. And then I realized that when I took something apart, I could absolutely put it back together. I liked that. So I would take things apart and then put them back together. But it was everything. No matter what it was, I wanted to take it apart. Now, I guess I am exaggerating. I didn't always get it put back together correctly, but there wasn't always a lot of leftover screws, but there were a few. But I enjoyed taking things apart and putting them back together. So we, at my house, our heat went out, and my uncle worked for Honeywell, so he was doing heat and air, and we had no heat. And my dad called my uncle up and said, hey, we have no heat. Can you come over and help us out? He's like, yes, of course. I'll get over there as soon as I can. Of course, we have no heat, and we're sitting there waiting on him to show up. All right. And I think I tell this story about this feeling you get. When he showed up, it's like, oh my gosh, the serviceman is here. Oh my, he's here. You're waiting. And I know they don't really have pet stores anymore, but it's kind of like if you went to a pet store back in the day, the dogs in the windows, as you walk by, the dogs would jump up. They're so excited to see you. That's how we were when my uncle showed up. We were so excited to see him so he could fix the heat. And of course, he came in and he went downstairs and the transformer went out. And he replaced the transformer and got our heat working. And we were just so excited. My mom and dad were just, over the moon. And it was that, what can I get for you? What can I do? How can I repay you? Again, immediate gratification that someone gets when they fix something. So with taking things apart and putting it back together, and then seeing how he was treated when he showed up to fix the heat, I knew I was going into the service field.
It's a good feeling
Oh,
when you fix something for someone, and something they need, right? So
Yes.
you go to grandma's house and her heat's out.
Yes.
Like, is there a better feeling
Oh
than
yeah.
that?
35 years later, I'm still doing it. It's the lifetime warranty. I love when I get, oh gosh, I just got it from my aunt last month. Hey, you remember when you just fixed my air conditioner? It's not working. I'm like, I fixed it 5 years ago. And of course, it's like, I thought you just fixed it. It felt like it was just recently. So I went over there. Of course, I got lucky. There's been a lot of power issues going around with all the storms, and she just lost a capacitor, and I was able to put a capacitor in there. And again, it was she's giving me all this, iced tea and stuff like that, because, it's my aunt. She's a little older, of course, because I'm older. And just load me up on everything. Won't let me leave until I, just take a bunch of stuff. So, because I won't accept any money from my family. So it's always, they're just trying to give me something.
I redid some ductwork for my uncle who lives in a trailer. And his ductwork under the house, a lot of it was flex, and it was just kind of sitting down and in the water and stuff that was down there. And I needed someone skinny. So I brought Darren. He used to be skinnier back then. So I brought Darren out there with me, and we redid his ductwork under the trailer. And my Uncle Mike tried to give me money, and I was like, come on, I'm not taking that. So he turned around to give all of it to Darren.
Yep.
And Darren says, well, Phil's not taking any money. I'm not either. I remember my Uncle Mike looking at him being like, don't make me kick you in the nuts. Take this money. So yeah, that was an awesome feeling to go out, and help out my uncle who's done a lot.
Yes,
lot
absolutely.
for me through life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's awesome to give back in that feeling.
Yes.
I love it.
Yep.
I'm not quite as good at putting things back together as you are. I remember I had a mini bike one time that wasn't running right, and I thought, I'm gonna take this apart and I'll find out what's wrong. I sold it in a box. The demo part I got, the putting back together was a little harder.
Well, I mean, when I rebuilt my first engine, I actually bought a book. It was How to Rebuild a Small Block Chevrolet. And it was just a step-by-step book, and I just read and followed along and just did it step by step with the book, laying all the parts out, keeping everything, in place, everything separated, cleaning everything. Another thing, just so enjoyable doing that. I love, again, taking that apart and then reassembling it and getting it running again. Just the greatest feeling.
Yeah, you got me at the reading part, man. Public school education. Reading's not my thing.
So we talked about being in the trades, but what if you want to grow?
I mean, I think MSD is a perfect example if you want to grow in your field, right? So at least 70% of the office staff came from the field.
Correct.
Right? I think MSD is willing to invest a lot in you as long as you're willing to invest in yourself.
Yes, that is a true statement.
Because I'm not trying to blow smoke, right? It's work. It's hard work, right? It's a good, honest day's work. It's a good, honest day's pay for a good, honest day's work. And if you want to grow, if you want to move to that next level, you have to put some effort into you. And MSD is willing to match and oftentimes exceed that effort that you're willing to put in for you to get you to where you want to be, right?
You see that within MSD.
Because, like I said, 70% of us didn't come from a school, didn't come from college, didn't come from somewhere else. Like, we worked our way up through the trades. We started as the person out there getting your hands dirty, and you just kind of grow, and you work at it until you get to where you want to be. And I'm not knocking college. You need college for a lot of things, right? I think for so long, the metric for success in schools was how many kids did I send to college? Where'd they go? What are they doing in school? And I think we started to turn the corner. We've got through to some of the administrators, some of the guidance counselors, some of the teachers, and like, listen, man, college isn't for everybody. And college isn't a necessity for every job, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with working a cash register at Target, but why would you want to put yourself $70,000 in debt to work a cash register at Target when you could just come do that, right?
Yes.
So the trades is kind of like that. Like, why would you want to go and get a degree in something that isn't really what you're going to do? So if you're going to go to college, make sure it's for something that you need. I mean, if you know you want to be an accountant, like, you need a college degree to be an accountant. If you want to be an engineer, you got to get that college degree to be an engineer, right? Those are well invested dollars if it's something that pertains to where you want to be. But I don't know. I see so many times that people just waste their time and their money to go to college when they don't need to. The trades is a way to not only not incur that debt,
Yes.
but to be on the positive side. You're making a lot of money.
Yes.
I mean,
And you're not even positive that's what you want to do. If you start out in the trades, like we said, I started as an electrician, and I actually didn't really want to be an electrician. I mean, I had fun doing it, but I really wanted to be in service. That's where you get when you fix things, you get that daily, or heck, sometimes, a few times a day, depending on how many service calls you run and, fix. You get the thank yous from people. So yes, and then in the trade, so I don't want to be an electrician, I can go be, a service technician, or I can go be a plumber, or in sheet metal or whatever. And like you're saying, here at MSD, they do give you that opportunity to explore, all the different trades. There's a tons of success stories, like you say, people who put in the work. But we got Mr. Verlander, who started as a dispatcher, all right, and now he is project managing. Your senior project manager, absolutely. What a great success there. That's just someone putting in the work. All right. Rex, the same way. Rex started out in a warehouse, and he did a couple other things, and he's doing the same there. Project manager. I mean, there's lots of people like that here. Myself, I started as a service technician, and now I'm the service manager. So they gave me that opportunity, and I took it and ran with it, and I'm definitely enjoying it.
And I think there's opportunity, but I also think there's nothing wrong if that's really your passion, like if to just be a service tech. If that fulfills you, that's great.
Correct.
That is phenomenal. If plumbing is really what you love, staying as a plumber your entire career, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right?
I do agree.
But if you are the person that wants to grow, there's opportunity.
Yes.
And I think that's the key word. When I go and I talk to schools and I talk to high school kids, I tell them, man, here's the word, opportunity. You have opportunity. You choose what to do with it. You choose how far you want to take it. But there is so much opportunity out here if you choose to go into the trades, if that's the type of person that you are. And there's room for all different, right? All different skill sets. I know it kind of bleeds over into technology, but technology affects everything that we do. And here, it's no different. It's no different on the install team. It's no different on the service team. Technology is adapting or making us adapt into the way we do things, right? So I think like over on the service side, I think about like RFS and the way that we do XOI videos and the way that we communicate with our clients and the way that I love the XOI videos, by the way. I think that's amazing.
A lot of all of the clients love it too.
And units, can't you go plug into a unit?
Yes, you
of
can.
them, and it kind of tells you.
You can Bluetooth to them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's continuous learning is what it is.
And on the install team, like our CAD department, the way they've adapted to now we're doing like 3D drawings.
Yes.
And the way we do coordination through there and Trimble. That we go out in the middle of this field where there's just corn growing, you know what I mean? And now we're going to build a hospital, right? We're going to save people's lives in the middle of this cornfield. It's hard to believe, but we walk out there with this Trimble and we start laying things out in the middle of this field, and it hits in this 4-inch wall, like boom, lands right in the middle of this 4-inch wall. Like, to me, that's amazing, like what it does. Or you come out here into prefab, and you look at, you know, the automation and the technology that has been set up out there, you know, it's no longer just the dirtball construction worker, right?
Correct, yes.
Technology bleeds into every aspect, and it strives to make our lives better,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and I can't wait to see our new building across the street.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing.
I'm excited.
When you're out recruiting, what tools do you use and where do you have the most success?
I think it varies. I mean, I think there's areas that we do very well in, and they're different, right? So one of the areas that we focus on are the schools. So we hit a lot of the trade schools. We hit a lot of, you know, just the regular high schools, and trying to find those people that are looking for their path. You know, trying to find their place in the world. So I think that has worked out well for us. We've got quite a few people that way. I think another really good avenue are referrals. And I think that's awesome. Because I think I counted up the one time, and I think there were like, out of almost 230 people, I think 48 people were related here. Right? Not all related to each other. We're not that inbred. Right? But they're related to someone, right? And you know, I mean, so for instance, for you, I mean, both your sons worked here at one point. You've still got Josh working here. And would you tell Josh, would you tell your son to come work someplace that, you know, wasn't a safe work environment, that didn't care about people, that there wasn't a future for? Right?
Well, this is the primary reason why I had him, or both of them, come aboard here.
Right? I think that is a huge draw for us, is referrals. And that means a lot. But we also hit the schools really hard, and when we talk to the schools, and you know, we try and be creative in where we look for people. But MSD offers a lot of advantages when we do recruiting. One of the big advantages is our apprenticeship program.
Yes.
Right. I think our apprenticeship program is really, really top notch.
Yes, it is.
And I think MSD has made it as friendly as they can for apprentices. Because I remember me coming in as an apprentice. You know, I came in, I had 2 young kids, I had a wife at home, and I would work all day, and a couple days a week I would go for a few hours after work on my own time, you know, to go through school. And MSD said, that's not right. You know what I mean? We don't need to keep people away from their families more. So let's do it. Let's do it during the week. Let's pay them to go, you know, pay them to go to school.
Yes.
So that way they can go home and be the people they want to be and get to what's really important, which is the kitchen table, right?
Yep.
I mean, because as much as I love MSD, I love the people that I do this with. I love what I do. I mean, I do it for my kitchen table, right?
Yep.
I do it so that I can provide for my family. I love the fact that MSD decided to do their apprenticeship that way, so people get home to that kitchen table.
Yes.
And they get to do the things they love to do with the people they love to do it with.
It's just another example of how MSD is investing in people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know it goes back to saying, if you're willing to put in the work,
Yes.
MSD is willing to match and exceed that. They just need to see you put some effort in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll help you get to where you want to be, you know. But our apprenticeship, I think, is awesome. So we've got the plumbing and the sheet metal track, you know, that we started with, and then the new service track. I hear nothing but great things. You know, we have some good instructors.
Yes.
That have been doing this a long time, that have a lot of knowledge to pass on, and really start prepping that next wave, you know, of workers and having them prepared. It's a process, but man, I really think that we are doing things the right way.
I think we are also. I love that, again, we're doing this during normal business hours. So you're investing in yourself. And you get time, that's the time for all the questions and answers. You're with a teacher who's been doing this in the field, in that trade, for years and years and years. So it's nice to be able to ask that individual, you know, questions and how would they handle this and all those special circumstances.
Right.
So I love the way we're doing it now, and I just want to continue on this path, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just see it getting better and better every year. I mean, and you always got to start somewhere,
Yes.
right? And you never start at the finish line. You start at the starting
Mhm.
line, and you go through the twists and the turns and the ups and downs, and you improve, and you find out, hey, this is what I thought was going to work. It really didn't work out, so let's change this, and you just kind of mold it to where it's the program that fits for you. And I think that's really what we've been doing, and it seems to get better every year.
Yes. And there's more than one program.
Yes, there's opportunity, right?
Mhm.
Opportunity is the word.
Talking about this schedule for the apprenticeship program, for the service department here, ours is once a week. So it's once a week for 4 hours. So you're in training, you come to class for 4 hours, and then you get to go and immediately apply it. So from that 4 hours, you're learning, say, about how a heating system works, or how an air conditioning system works. So after you're done with class, you go out the next half of the day, and when you're working on a unit, and you're right there saying, I just learned about this. They just taught us this. This is how this works. This is how that works. You see it almost immediately after being taught, what you're working on. How does the plumbing and sheet metal apprenticeship work?
It's similar to the service, but different, right? So yes, it is an accredited curriculum that we teach from that we developed, right? So it is tailored to what we need to know, what we need our people to know as they go out in the field, right? So the service is tailored to them. Our plumbing is tailored to our plumbers and the things that we need them to know. And our sheet metal is tailored to sheet metal technicians and what they need to know. So we're on the service side. You guys come in once a week for 4 hours a day. The install side is actually full day classes once every other week, right? And there's two parts to the apprenticeship program. There's the butt in the seat hours. So there is a minimum through the state of Ohio, which how we're accredited. You have to have a minimum butt in the seat hours. That's why attendance is so important.
Yes.
Right. And the other section is the OJT hours. So many on-the-job training hours. Because class is great, you get to talk about theory, you get to talk about, this is how this should be, and you get to understand the why behind it. And then I think most importantly is the OJT, is get your hands on it, because that's how most of us learn, right?
Yes.
Especially most of us in this trade that are tradespeople, we're kind of task people, right? Like, that's my task. Like, I need to get my hands on it, I need to learn how to do it, and learn how to do my task. But on the install side, so the plumbing and sheet metal, it's basically you're in class 2 days a month, and the rest of it is out on the job training. When you get done with your 4 years of schooling, because each of those programs, sheet metal and plumbing, are a 4-year track. In the state, there is a journeyman test for different places for plumbing, right? So there is not for sheet metal. Once you complete the sheet metal apprenticeship, you become a sheet metal journeyman. But in plumbing, it's a little bit different. There's a little more code, a little more things that you have to learn on the plumbing side. So, there's the City of Dayton test, and that's what we really go through. Class, we're trying to get you to where you're ready to take that test. And then as soon as you get done, we have what's enhanced training, right? Which gets you ready, and we're gonna help you pass that City of Dayton journeyman plumbing test. The instructors have done a really good job of putting together that training in addition to the 4-year apprenticeship, really tailored to just getting you ready for that test. So you get that licensure, that piece of paper at the end saying, I did this.
And the best thing about all this training is it's paid. MSD pays you.
Paid.
Absolutely.
Paying you to go to school.
Yes.
Paying you to advance you so you make more money.
Exactly.
You're worth more. We pay you to advance you.
Yes, and the better you do with it, attendance and test-wise, there's bonuses offered for that also.
Yep, the Eagle Award,
The Eagle
right?
Award, yes.
So I mentioned butt in the seat hours, right? So there's a certain amount of hours you have to be in the seat. You cannot miss more than X number of days, or you won't make those hours. But if you're better than the minimum, right? We're better than the C minus. That's a check mark for you. If you have a GPA that's better than the minimum, and we have a whole metric laid out on what qualifies you, right? But if you are better than the minimum, like I'm not just a skating by, I'm doing well. My GPA, that's a check mark. Safety is really important. People should want to be safe
Yes.
for the right reasons.
It's one of the most important things.
I think it's the
Yeah.
most important. But that we're practicing safe techniques, so there's no safety violations. That's a check mark. OJT hours. So we have to turn those into the state every month. We have to collect those and turn those in. So if you turn your OJT hours in on time every week, that's a check mark. And you meet this metric, we're offering what's called the Eagle Award, which is a $2,000 bonus, essentially for being better than the bare minimum.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So through a 4-year apprenticeship program, you've got the ability to earn an additional $8,000 just for being better than skating by. So not only is MSD paying you to go to school, to make more money, to advance you, we're incentivizing you to be better than just scraping by with the Eagle Award. I think it's a win-win.
It's definitely a win-win. That was great information there. Phil, I want to thank you for being part of the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, Danny. I really appreciate it.
Oh, this is my pleasure.